You are listening to Where To Tracks. Are you all ready for our special jingle? Weak effort from the team, but that's okay. We are Where To Tracks, and my name is Chloe Gradwell, and I'm here joined by...
Matt Riley.
And...
Mariana Rudo.
And what are we talking about today? Today we are going to talk about the Americas. Dun, 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 dun. You meant to join in again, but you didn't. What is this weird noise? Can anyone else hear it?
It sounds like we're underwater.
Oh great, should we start again?
Well, that makes it even more fun. Okay, so we are joining you today from under the ocean, and we are going to talk about the Americas. Who wants to start?
Yay!
Yay!
I will start. Well, so I've been to Chile, Bolivia, Peru, very briefly, and Argentina. Also briefly. Which one shall I start in?
Peru.
So, actually, Peru is probably my most interesting story. So, I obviously went to Peru, like all gap year students do, to climb Machu Picchu. Went
Jealous.
to Cusco. If you get a chance to go, Cusco's lovely.
Cusco-topia.
Couldn't really breathe because it's so high altitude.
How high is it?
Wow, that's, I don't know, 4,000 metres.
Yikes.
I definitely just made that up. And if anyone listens, will just be like, that's wrong.
You said it with conviction, though, so we'll all believe
so
you.
4,000 metres /foot / probably 1,000. But anyway, and we were going to go as a group of friends to climb Machu Picchu, and it was on my bucket list for the year to do it. And got in the minibus. We paid like, I don't know, 50 quid for like a 3-day trek. Absolute bargain. Gotta find your bargains. And we were halfway up a hill, and I got a really bad headache. And I thought it was just a migraine. Then we got to the top of the hill, and I couldn't see anything.
Just a quick interjection. I like how you say just a migraine.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Just one of those old things.
Well, I thought as long as I make it there, the migraine will hopefully disappear with the beautiful sight of Machu Picchu.
And you couldn't see the site because you couldn't see anything.
Well, this is what I was
Did you
getting
ruin
to.
the story? Was that a spoiler?
No, he
So
just
there you
said.
go,
Okay.
So we got to the top of the hill, and I couldn't see, and I thought this is a bit odd. And then I felt very sick, and I started to pass out.
Oh my god.
So I was trying to tell the person next to me that I'm passing out, and they were thinking, why is this random British guy stroking me? And my friends were on the back of the bus, but I was like third wheeling them. They were in a couple, and they were just kind of ignoring me because they were like, leave us alone.
That's not very
And then
nice.
I was suddenly on the floor in the middle of the aisle of the minibus, and all I can remember is being dragged out, throwing up everywhere, and then like these local people from, because we stopped in like a petrol station thing, and they came out with like leaves and stopped putting them in my ears and my eyes.
Oh.
But one tourist actually saved me because he got me a bottle of Coke, and I literally like downed this whole bottle of Coke, then vomited it everywhere again.
Oh,
and
for God's sake.
I was crying. I thought I was going to die.
That's so sweet.
And my friends were crying because they couldn't work out what was happening. And then the man in the minibus was like, yeah, he's got food, he's got altitude sickness. Shoved me in a taxi. Went back to my hostel, and that was my endeavours in Peru over.
Stunning.
So, I love the country. Not great memories, but I'd love to go back.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Was it worth it at least?
Yes, it was worth paying about £50 to get altitude
Yeah,
sickness.
that's true.
But at least I didn't lose a lot of money. But I never made it to Machu Picchu. I can't really be bothered to go back and try again. I'll be honest.
Maybe if you give it a long enough time, you'll get your yearning back and want to go
It's
back.
weird because I'd been at altitude for like a month, and it just hits you.
But was it hot? Maybe
No,
it's
it wasn't hot. It was actually like rain. They don't really have a rainy season, but it was just thunderstorms all day. And
I definitely know what this sound is. Has it gone?
No.
Oh.
wait, I think it might have done.
No, it's still
No, it's
here.
fading.
Sorry, everyone. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, it's fading. Oh my god! So it was the air conditioning. Oh, or is it back?
That's magic. I don't know. We're still under the ocean, everyone. Don't worry. We do treat you well. So you're not going to go back?
Well, maybe. I was going to go. There's a volcano there that you can mount a bike on.
Nice.
And I really wanted to do that, and a friend did it, but it was a bit expensive, and it's a long way to go just to mountain bike down a volcano. But Yeah, and then I've been to Bolivia.
I'd love to go.
Same.
Bolivia is amazing. One of my favourite capital is in Bolivia, La Paz. It's incredible because I think it's the highest. If I get this right, it's the highest capital in the world. But there is a capital in
What
Europe.
about
that's
Mexico
not
City?
No, but there's a No, it's not Mexico City, but there is a capital in Europe that is not an official capital, which is actually the highest. But I can't
If anyone
remember it.
knows, let us know.
Yeah.
Competition without a prize, but a lot of pride.
Yeah, take home the victory, the moral victory. And that was amazing. La Paz is weird but wonderful. We stayed in a hostel and you had free pancakes for breakfast.
Yum.
And like, I thought, oh yeah, this is a classic hostel. You get there and they're like the size of a 50p piece. No, these are like full on, thick as a dinner plate. Huge pancakes. And yeah, the Paz is just so weird. There was like, they called themselves witches in the streets, and they'd just be there like with weird concoctions of liquids and smelling.
Really?
No, but
things.
they do believe a lot
Yeah,
in
yeah,
those things in South
That's
America.
so much fun.
And that was cool to see. And it's quite common in South America where at the traffic lights they entertain the cars and then they walk through to get to
Yeah,
it.
they do. They
And
do.
in Bolivia there was this guy and he was on a unicycle on stilts. So he was riding the unicycle on his stilts whilst juggling fire. And then he'd just get down and got like 5p tip. And I was like, he's risking his life to entertain and he's making absolutely nothing.
How much did you give him?
I didn't give him anything.
Oh,
Matt.
I filmed him as well, didn't I?
for
And,
goodness
and
sakes.
yeah, but I was on my galley. I had no money.
Oh, classic.
But yeah, that was cool.
Did you go to the Salt Flats?
I did go
I'd
to
love to go.
amazing. Do you know what's really weird? When I got there, I wanted a photo of me doing a handstand. Now, obviously, I forgot.
As do we all.
Yeah, and when you look at the salt flats, it just looks like water. And we were at altitude, so I was a little bit delirious, we could say. And in my delirious state, I tried to do a handstand, forgetting obviously salt is quite rough.
Yeah.
And it's not like little bits of salt that are all soft. It's proper
Jaggedy
solidified,
rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just sliced all my hands open.
No.
Yeah. So that
At
didn't
least
go
it
well.
was salt though, because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
means they're just super clean cuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No
That's
chance of infection there.
So bittersweet.
But I upset because a lot of you don't have to do it this way, but the main way people do it is you go in like tours. So the companies that you go with, they have like 7-seater 4x4s, and you just whichever tourists are there will go with you. So we had 3 Brazilians with us and a Uruguayan, and they were super good fun. Like we were really getting on. And then included in the package was get up at sunrise and see the salt flats at sunrise. And I was the only one who wanted to do it because all the others were plastered the night before. So I was like, I really want to do it. I've paid for it. And then we all had like a big, not argument, but debate over whether to go and do it. And they unanimously defeated me, but because I'd paid, the guide said we have to do it because he wants to do it. So I sort of felt guilty, and then I thought, no, sod it. Like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. And then, of course, we got up and it was cloudy and raining. And we couldn't see a sunrise and they were not happy. But, like, they're the best travel stories, aren't they, when it goes, like, a little bit wrong.
Yeah, very good.
But, yeah, Bolivia's cool. Where else did I go?
So was this one big trip on your gap year? Was this sort of a South America trip?
Yeah, so I lived in Chile on my gap year, in the very south. And then school holidays in Chile are crazy. They're from, like, December till March. So we just went travelling around South America in that time. But in Chile, I mainly visited, I did a bit of the north, but I mainly stayed in the south where I was living in a place called La Union. And I visited, there's a great city to the north of La Union called Valdivia. And it's got like loads of German influence. And there's loads of places to drink, there's breweries everywhere. There's like a river going straight through the middle of the city. And there's a market next to it. And there's a really famous photo of they call them Lobos del Mar, which is like wolves of the sea. They're like sea lions, but a lot bigger. Like they're really, I've never seen them anywhere else. And there's a photo of the Chilean president in Valdivia, and this big like sea wolf, as they say, coming out of the water and like trying to bite his ear, and it's really famous. So I went there, but no sea lions jumped up at me for the photo. Unfortunately. But
Now
that's
that would have been a
amazing-
good story.
Yeah, that's an amazing city. That was my favourite city, I think, in Chile. Just great beer. Obviously German influence. Great beer, great food, these weird sea wolf thingy-majigs. And then there's another city in the south I visited a lot called Puerto Montt, which is...
Amazing.
Great accent, can
Yeah.
I just say, on all these words? Yeah.
Wait till
very
Mariana
good.
gets going.
Yeah.
Oh, it's dreamy. But Puerto Montt's nice as well. It's like a port city. And I had a friend there who was another volunteer. I used to go there a lot. And it had like good nightlife, good bars. But it just rained. Like the south of Chile is very wet. And every time we went it rained and rained. But like it's just so...
Surely that just makes it so green and luscious, though.
It's amazing.
Oh my goodness,
And it's
I'd
just
love to see that.
so different to anything I'd ever experienced before. Because you'd be in the city and then you'd drive over the hill at the back of the city and there was just like 3 volcanoes just sat there like, hello. Yeah, it was just like, wow. And when I was there, a volcano, Volcan Calbuco, erupted. And it was
Calbuco?
like I don't know how many kilometres, like 3 kilometres away from Puerto Montt. And my friend
My
who was living
God.
there like took a photo. But I lived 3 hours in the north and you could see the ash cloud from the volcano. And I came home
Really?
telling all the Chileans, oh, there's a volcano, and they were like, no, it's a forest fire. Then we turned on the TV, and who was right? A-level geography did pay off. But yeah, so Chile, what a country.
Oh.
What a country. This is true.
Thanks, Marianne.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Well, obviously Chile.
Oh, what a great segue.
Ooh.
You like chili too?
I
Well,
love
let's
it.
go.
No, so I have a kind of different experience with Chile because obviously my mum is Chilean, so I've got all my family on my mum's side who lives there. I think I said that in the other podcast as well. Just repeating myself. But so yeah, when I go to Chile, I'm with locals. I'm with Chilean people. So I live in many different houses. So my grandparents, my cousin, I've got my godmother. Like I just wander around Santiago, which is the capital of Chile. And yeah, each time I go, it's just amazing. I love that country so much. I love the culture so much. It's just like so different from what I'm used to see in Europe in general, that when I go it's a big breath of, I don't know, freshness, and I don't know, it's just amazing.
How often do you get to go?
I try and go every 2 years because obviously the plane tickets are very expensive. You can find cheap ones if like you stop in different like cities like around. I mean, sometimes you can stop in Los Angeles and then fly and everything, but I've never done that before because I was obviously not an adult, so I'd rather go in a straight plane, which is like 14 hours.
Long.
But yeah, no. So my experience in Chile, from what I remember, I mean, I've been a few times, but first, people are so nice in South America in general, I think. But in Chile, they are very. I'm generalizing, but they're all very like Christian, so they have a big attachment to religion, because it is their only kind of hope, and that's how the country has developed in years and everything. So they have a sense of like family and people that is so different from here. Like as I said in the other podcast, but just like in general, everyone says hi, everyone just smiles at you, is trying to make you feel comfortable. Obviously, as I said, it's a country like any other where some stuff can happen, and there is robberies, and there is like.
But I mean, did you find the same thing?
I have some very funny religion stories from when I was there. They're very religious. So I volunteered as a teacher at school, and every morning before school they'd have like 20 minutes, like oración, which is like prayers in the morning, and it was really weird. But like they used to pray for me and my family, but I'm not religious in the slightest. But it was obviously a nice sentiment. But the woman I lived with, she used to. When I first got there, they used to ask if I was religious and things like that, everyone you met. And I'd always say no. And she asked me why I wasn't religious. And it's just because I've not been brought up that way, so I find it hard to believe it. And she was saying, but how do you think everything happens on earth? It's got to be God, it's got to be God. I didn't really have a response. And then I said, well, what about all the bad things that happen, like children getting ill, natural disasters.
Hmm.
And she went, oh, and she sort of puffed and puffed, and she walked away. And then 2 days later, she came up to me and she went, your argument is rubbish. And I was like, what is she on about? And she was like, it's obviously the devil. So she'd obviously been spending.
But you
That's
have to keep a
extreme,
straight
that
face.
is
funny.
You have to keep,
And I'm going, oh, okay, that's quite valid. But I laughed actually, and she thought it was funny. But she'd obviously been thinking really hard how to justify. And she didn't used to go to church or anything. And I said to her, how can you be so religious but you never go to church? And she said, the other week God came to me and he told me I didn't need to go to church. And I thought, well, if he's told you, then fair enough. But they were great. But when I was there, it was the big football tournament, the Copa America, which is like the Euros, but in America.
We won.
Yeah, I was there.
And
the
we
year they
won.
Yeah, it was amazing. But it went to penalties. And Alexis Sanchez, who's really big in this country, plays for Manchester United. Not very well at the moment now, according to some. But he was very good at Arsenal. Played for Barcelona. Everyone. Anyway, I'm waffling. It was his last penalty, and they were all on their knees in tears, praying and praying and praying, and he scored. So that's not evidence. What is?
Well, that's true. Up for debate, I reckon.
Yeah. But all the Argentinians who lost the final were also praying. So it's a tough one, isn't it? But they were very religious, and it was nice. They were the most loving people and the friendliest people. Like, I lived with a family there, never met me, knew nothing about me, and like now we talk on WhatsApp all the time. I've been back to see them last summer, going next summer.
Oh.
So like, they took me under their wing, you could say.
Yeah, they're very attaching.
Yeah.
If that's a word. Is that a word?
Yeah, and they're very. It's just quite South American. Well, it's just basically everyone who's not English. Very huggy, very kissy.
Complete opposite of English.
Whereas we're like, someone brushes you in the street, sorry. I used to do that, and children, they'd look at me and be like, why, what have you done?
Oh, that makes me remember when I came to England, I couldn't kiss anyone. In France, you kiss when you say hi.
Yeah.
And I was so
Was
confused.
that difficult?
It was so hard because honestly, the first few weeks actually, I would really want to like go and kiss people in Sheffield, and everyone was like,
she doesn't hang about. First
No,
day, she's kissing
no, but like it's just it's like, mwah, mwah, and then it's done, and you said hi, and yeah, it was confusing. I thought I was very strange. I think people thought I really wanted to like, you know.
Well, I obviously had that complete opposite of that when I went to Chile, because they do the kissing, but they don't really kiss. They sort of, you blow the air, don't you? You go. That was the worst impression. But I found it really awkward because I didn't really understand who you did it, because you didn't go up to the kids and do it at the school, but you did it with all the teachers. But like, some of the teachers were married, so if the woman came in and her husband was there, I'd be like, well, is he going to beat me up if I do this?
That's such
And
an
then, like,
English way to look at it.
And then some of the men will do it, and some of the men want to shake your hand. So I think I went in, there was a big group of blokes, and they were all doing the kiss with me. And then this one bloke, I went to do it, and he just sort of pushed me back and gave me a firm handshake and let me know what was happening. But yeah, very different, but interesting.
Oh yeah. And the food, and so obviously because my family's Chilean, we always eat Chilean food, and I am in heaven each time I go in terms of food. I don't know
What
if
kind of dishes do they have?
Oh, they have empanadas, which is like my favourite thing.
I like pasties.
It's like a pasta with like whatever. You can have cheese, you can have vegetables, you can have meat. They do something called pastel de choclo, which is my favourite thing. It's like it's a corn cake. That's weird. The translation. But it's not a corn cake. It's like a big like dish that is made of mainly corn and some meat or cheese, and it's made in like a very big plate, and you put sugar in it.
Yeah, I was
This
about to
sounds
ask,
like
do you
the
put sugar in
worst
it?
thing
No,
I've
it is.
ever heard of in my life.
I tried this like 2 weeks in, and she gave me, and it just looks like a big bowl of sweet corn that's been cooked. Basically.
Oh,
And I was like, this is going to be awful. And then she gave me sugar, and I was like, oh no, I don't take tea. And she was like, no, it's for this like weird chocolate. Like,
yeah, say again,
dish.
what was it called?
Pastel de choclo.
Pastel de chocolate.
And I put sugar on it, and oh my god, it's actually very nice.
It's
like,
I love it.
but they have,
when it's well done.
But
it's
does it
so
taste
good.
sweet or savoury?
Oh, it's so weird.
it's so hot, you can't explain it, can you?
I'll make one for you one day.
And then they
No.
have like sopapillas, which are like sweet dough balls. It's
Yum.
It's so hard to explain the food.
I know.
But you could have it with manha, which is like a milky toffee spread, and I would just dip it, and I would eat
Yum.
like 20 sopapillas. I don't know how I didn't come back from Chile obese, honestly.
Oh,
No idea.
yeah. And they have dulce de leche, which is very... I hate it, but it's like
amazing.
jam or peanut butter, but it's made of caramel and milk.
Oh, why do you... I tell you what, with these things, there is always one element of it that is ruining it for me. Why does there have to be milk in it? You ruined it with milk. And the sugar. No.
Honestly.
Yes, it's so good. So yeah, the food's amazing, and then it's very hot in Santiago. Like it can go up to like 42 degrees sometimes, or 44. I actually don't even know what's the maximum. But yeah, I always have a great time, and I have some funny stories because obviously I go out sometimes with like my cousins who know the clubs and the bars and the places, and the way they party in Chile is very different from France or England. Like what really struck me was the fact that the boys in nightclubs actually dance like the girls. On reggaeton, they move their ass like pros.
Can you not say ass live on the air, please?
Bottom.
Bottom.
Their bottom.
Their buttocks.
They move their bottom like girls on reggaeton.
So, as a gringo, an English foreigner in Chile,
Mm-hmm.
going to the nightclubs is kind of terrifying because here the girls will dance and the boys might dance if they've had enough, but most boys just stand in a
the corner.
circle drinking Heineken.
And even if the boy dance here, it's not like...
No.
It's
I
not.
know.
They've got
I know
moves
some
out
of them.
there, crazy moves. But I went to a club and I've never seen this before or since. And we got into the club and it's like at a year 6 sort of disco. And they said boys on one side, girls on the other. And it was just, you had to line up as opposite a girl and just dance with them for the whole song.
I
and
bet
then the
you
next
were
song you
so
were meant to...
awkward.
Well, the next song you're meant to switch, but obviously some people hit it off during one song. Some people are
So it's
smooth,
like
smooth
speed
moves.
dating.
Essentially, but with music.
That's so much more fun.
But you can be left alone and there's nothing more awkward because that happened to me. I was in the line, first song came on, I had no idea what was happening. This girl was looking at me. I was like, how do I get out of this situation? And then the next song came on and I was just stood in this line and everyone was in couples and there was just me.
Oh no.
And I couldn't get to the bar and I was just there like, when will this song end? And reggaeton, the music in Chile, they all sound the same, the songs.
I know, no,
It's
they're
dun,
different.
dun, 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 dun. That's all it is.
It's very nice. I loved it. So yeah, I can't dance like Chilean people, and I felt like Matt a bit like you're in the club and you're trying like to dance like a girl in here, and even like that, I was just not okay.
But like most places, they love it if you try. You
Yeah,
become
no, of
like a mini
course.
celebrity.
Of course. So yeah, and then what could I end on? I love Chile also because that's one thing I will remember for my whole life, and I still think about it like a lot. But like anyone could experience that going to Chile, but when you go skiing in Chile, so near Santiago, there's
I
like
didn't know you could ski in Chile.
there's
Is it expensive?
the
I went to Argentina to ski, so I'll come on to that.
there's all the
Is it expensive?
Los Andes. I don't remember. I
Oh.
didn't.
Argentina wasn't, so I can't.
I
My
don't
friend
think it
actually
is.
skied in Chile and it was cheap.
Nice.
It's kind of cheap.
That'd
And
be beautiful.
And I went there, like, it was, an hour drive from Santiago. Because obviously in Santiago you can see the mountains because it's all around. Because Los Andes is, like, all around the country from north to south. And I went skiing there, and you're at the top of the piste that you're going to ski down. And you look at your right, and there's the ocean right there. And it's just a mix of, like, mountain and
That's so
ocean
nice.
all together. And it's just insane because... it's just like the Pacific Ocean, and you're like in the snow, like skiing with like a
Kind of
hat.
hot, kind of
Like,
cold, kind of
no,
weird.
it's
I
so-
don't know.
It's so beautiful.
Aw.
Quickly, I skied in, and then we'll come to you, Taylor. 'cause
No,
I know you've got stories.
No, I need you
Ah,
to.
the lies. I skied in Argentina, in a place called Bariloche, which is an amazing city in the south of Argentina. And it's really famous for St. Bernard dogs. So if you go, yeah.
Stop.
So I'm sure I got
Oh
that
god, I
right.
choked a wee bit.
So if you go, there's like a
They're my
square.
favourite.
There's a square in the middle of the city, and there's just like 20 of them. But if you go and stroke them, then they're like, pay me, and you're meant to pay them money. So you have to be really,
God.
you have to be really sneaky with your stroke. And there's always puppies there, and it's really
What,
sweet.
St. Bernard?
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're very cute.
God.
But the skiing, we went in winter. I went with one friend, and it was so brutal. It's not like skiing in Europe. Like the slopes weren't pisted, so they were just savage. Like my knees after the
But
first
that's what
day.
they're like in Norway. They don't make the thing. They're
And
just.
it's just brutal.
It's horrid.
It's
funny.
I was
but
used
it's
to
horrid.
the luxury of Austria, where it's just like a carpet, and you
Yeah.
slide down it, you go back up, and it's not a challenge.
Have a beer. You're done for the day.
Yeah, easy. You can eat a sandwich on the way down. Whereas in Argentina, I was going like, I don't know, probably only like
Legs
5
going out
miles
the
an hour,
opposite
but
ways.
it's like mogul after mogul after mogul. But it was brutally cold. We got on one of the chairlifts, and when we got to the top, we went to get off, and we couldn't because our gloves had frozen to the rail that we were holding on to. So they had to stop and like defrost us. The bloke was like blowing under our gloves to try and make it melt, and obviously it didn't take long because we'd only been on the lift for like 5 minutes. But
So
and then I
funny.
took the glove off to adjust my helmet, and I couldn't get my hand just froze, so I couldn't get the glove back on. I just couldn't move my fingers on manipulating them.
No.
So I skid down, and you can't see this, but my hand is like a claw. So I just skid down with this right-angled claw on the end of my arm.
Oh,
But yeah,
God.
interesting times.
Funny.
Anyway,
no,
Mexico,
but
Cuba.
Before we move on to Mexico, so obviously you're going as a non-native, you're
Yeah.
going as a native. Would you say you were both equally able to like get involved with the culture? Everyone was lovely.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think as long as you're open-minded,
yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of.
you're not going to go there aggressive.
Let's say
No,
that's-
but as in if you're not scared of like having locals helping you
Yeah, they're
out
so friendly.
or telling you where to go or whatever.
It's always intimidating when you go to a new place,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's a different nationality, different culture. But in most places, the minute you approach them, they're fine. And like, I got involved in loads of stuff when I was there, and they couldn't be more. Chileans are so patriotic and so proud. They want to show you everything that's great about their country.
And it's so cheap. We
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
say
Oh.
it's so cheap.
What, when you're there? I was gonna
Everything.
ask, how much of flights do you reckon?
Well, flights are expensive.
Obviously,
The
but I
last
mean, like
time
around how
I
much?
went was around just over 500.
Which I mean isn't
But
that
I went
bad.
and I went via Sao Paulo in Brazil,
Mm.
and so it wasn't even that long a flight. But it depends what time of year you go as well.
Yeah, it depends how long before you book your flight.
Yeah, of
'Cause
course, the standard.
yeah. So the flight is expensive, but you could stay a month over there. My brother did that. He stayed a month and hitchhiked from north to south, and
Yeah.
he barely spent money.
Wait, he hitchhiked from. Is it Chile, the long country?
Yeah.
It's the second.
What
it's
the
actually the
heck?
second longest after
You
Norway.
love your facts,
Norway.
isn't it?
Yeah.
God. Wait, surely Chile is longer than Norway.
No, apparently not.
No, it is.
Stunning.
Is it?
It is the
It
longest
must
country
be.
on earth.
Let's switch
Well,
them around. Okay,
My
fake
presentation
facts.
from 2014 is incorrect. Oh dear.
I mean, again, you said it with conviction, so I would just believe you
Yeah,
anyway.
well.
However, Mariana did call you out.
Well, that'll be my time to go then.
So we know how much it is. We know it's very cheap there. Would you go again? I mean, you're obviously going to go
well,
again.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going back. So.
I mean, you've
I think that
tempted
answers
me.
it.
I would love to go.
Come, we should all go. Oh my god.
Where to trip?
We could do a podcast on the top of the mountain
One of us.
and then ski down to the ocean and do a podcast there.
Brilliant. Sign me up. Pay for my
Ski down
flights.
and then drive to the ocean. Yeah. Oh, I was hoping you'd cover that.
No.
Anyway, we want to hear about Cuba and Mexico.
I tell you what, in the last podcast, if you really want to hear about Cuba, you can go to the other one because.
Okay. Oh, I like your plug there.
Yeah,
We've got another podcast.
there is another podcast. I don't know whether you know. But yeah, I mean, Cuba was only 3 days of my 2-month trip in Mexico, but just because it wasn't a very good experience. But I'm not saying don't go. I just went for a little bit, but it was funny. But never again.
It was funny, but never again.
It was funny, but never again. Mexico. Funny little place. Big place, actually. I mean, I flew into Mexico City and you get off the plane, and obviously because Mexico City is just on a massive hill, basically. And so you get off the plane and your feet are massive. I mean, they're usually big anyway, but they're even bigger because of the high altitude.
I was so confused.
Yeah.
I thought I'd misheard you. Your feet are massive. I was like, why? Is everyone just tiny? It makes I look at Mariana
Everyone
like,
is normal
what is going on?
sized and my feet are huge is the
From
end
the high
of that
altitude,
one.
Okay.
So yeah, then you walk around and you get into the city and you're like, I can't walk, but I need to find my home. So your little fat feet are just plodding along the busy roads. You're like, when will I get there? And me and my sister were just moving so slowly. And then, I mean, it's the same. It sounds like the same in South America. Everyone just comes up to you and they're like, are you all right? Do you need some ointment for your feet? So then we got some ointment on our feet, which was really nice. But then we thought we'd probably have to see where we're going to go. Home instead of having our feet rubbed.
So where did you sleep?
We stayed in an Airbnb for one night because I mean the whole premise of the trip was to cover as much of Mexico as possible because obviously it's huge.
Did you have like places booked or were you sort of just
only the
here
first
and there?
night.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean the flights, I went for a month and a half, 2 months, and they were 350 return.
Ooh,
That's
that's
good.
nice.
Which is super good. And I mean, we had to then come back to Mexico City to fly out, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
And
quite
she
cheap.
lost her tequila.
And I lost my tequila. Go to the other podcast to hear about that, everyone.
Oh God.
But that's not Mexico's fault. And yeah, so we basically travelled around the East Coast. So we went from Mexico City around the East Coast down to the South. And then I fell terribly ill and we had to go home. But I mean, that was just the food. I think I accidentally ate meat or something. I'm not sure. It was delicious and it was definitely worth being ill for. But
Where was the best place in Mexico that you went to?
100
Where's the place to go?
Isla Holbox. The only bad thing about it,
What?
Isla Holbox.
It's a great name. The name.
I
is
love the
tempting.
name.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. It's like a tiny. So the only bad thing about it is you have to fly to Cancun, which if you like Cancun, that's fine. But it's not for me. You have
Is
to
that
fly
the touristy?
Yeah, it's just full of nightclubs and
Yeah.
it's like the Magaluf of Mexico. That's what I'd call it. So yeah, you have to go to Cancun and then you have to get a boat across to the island. And the island doesn't have any cars on it or anything. Everyone just drives around in like little dirt bikes. And it's really small and you can walk from one end to the other
Lovely.
in like 40 minutes or something. It's really tiny.
That is small.
And yeah, you can see whale sharks there. We went swimming with whale sharks.
Oh.
But me and my sister drank a bottle of gin the night before, so my sister was sick on the whale shark.
On the actual
On
whale
the
shark.
actual whale shark.
Like genuinely.
Yeah,
on
all the way. I mean, so how much did it cost to do the trip? You have to pay like 50 quid to go for like a boat trip to go and see the whale sharks.
Yeah.
So we got on there. My sister was already very hungover. Tiny boat, sort of rocking side to side, and you basically get 2 opportunities to go and swim with them. So the first one she got in and was fine, but yeah, felt a bit ill. I mean, a bottle of gin is quite a lot. And then the second time, she was like, I don't think I should go. And I was like, Ella, you're swimming with whale sharks. Get in the water. So she just sort of threw her body in. And then I think from hitting the water, it just sort of hit her neck or something. And she threw all over the whale shark that was swimming next to us. And it was so funny. And then the people that were running the trip were like, get out. But I was just there swimming along like, I'll stay in here. But would definitely recommend Isla Holbox. It's
just not
super
a bottle
good.
of gin the night before.
Just not a bottle of gin the night before, although it's very cheap for a bottle of gin, so maybe do. But yeah, I mean, Isla Holbox, I think, because when I was there, it was being developed into sort of resorts and things, and made in Chelsea. I don't know whether any of our listeners watch, but
gosh.
they have now all been there, so I don't ever think it'll be as sweet as it was.
Right,
But
so
I
get
think
taken
it's
over
I think it's still
by the
so lovely, and
tourists.
if you're going to Mexico, you should definitely go.
Mm.
But yeah, I loved it. I want to go back. I'd love to go back because it's so huge and I barely saw any of it, which is a shame. And it's so cheap to travel around. I mean, surely the same in South America. You could just get a bus for
Yeah.
like £2 for 24 hours, and it's ridiculous. But no, very funny. Funny boys.
Ooh, I think it's the trivial question time.
Wait, that means we need to think of a trivial question jingle. Okay, I'll
Okay.
start. Are you ready? Are you start?
Woo!
Okay. So, I threw off my groove then. Okay, yes. It's trivia time.
Oh!
Brilliant. Okay, welcome to the second element of the show today, everyone. I've got to get my game show host voice on. Hello, everyone. So, our question today is several questions. Okay, no, should I ask one, then you ask one, then you ask one?
No, so
Should I just do them all?
Wait.
You do them all to me.
Ooh.
Well, you do them all to both of us, and then Mariana has a screen in front of us, so she can ask you.
Okay, that's fine. Or I just prefer to be the host. Sorry, we
Okay.
should have really decided this before.
Yeah, but this is the beauty of a podcast.
You never know what's
We're
going to
giving
happen
them behind
with
the scenes.
trivia time. Trivia time. Okay, so first trivia question.
Who to? Matt?
Both of you.
No.
First.
But we're going to answer at the
Dream
same time.
destination.
Romania.
Dream destination.
Mentawai Island. Mentawai Highlands.
Really?
I love it.
I've never heard of that.
It's
Where?
amazing.
Where is it?
In Indonesia.
Romania.
Interesting. Yeah,
Sorry, I
You've
didn't
never
react to yours. I reacted-
I've been to Romania.
that's
I've
where I
never
got the
been.
inspiration from, seeing the photos. I feel like it's one of those untouched places.
I never hear anything about it, but
That's
that's the good
exactly the
thing.
reason I want to go.
very fun.
Yeah.
Ooh. Who's ready for the next one?
I'm going to write a Romanian article, by the way. Matt, if you want to read it.
Exclusive. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next trivia question. Favourite place to travel to?
Portugal, I guess, because I love it. I go every year.
Niche. And swapping over to the other side.
Cliche, but Chile.
Oh,
Oh.
how very topical for our
Oh.
chat. That is sweet. Okay. Question number 3. Both at the same time. Best cultural travel. Actually, don't do it at the same time because then they'll be able to hear. You
China.
first. Oh, Mariana comes in with a swift one.
I think
Sorry.
Bolivia.
Bolivia. Sorry, just in case you didn't hear that question, it was best cultural travel, and we had China and Bolivia. Reasons why, please?
Just like Bolivia, those weird witches in the street. Just like
That is good.
bizarre.
China is something else. I wouldn't say it's the best trip I had, but in terms of culture shock, that was quite hit.
Quite intense, yeah.
Yeah.
She
Quite
was
different.
shocked.
I'd love to go.
Amazing temples. It's just nice.
Aww. Question number 4. One thing you always take.
Swimming trunks, always. Although skinny dipping is always an option.
Oh, God, how racy. Okay, Mariana, what about you? You've got a lot to live up to.
Sun cream.
Oh, boring. No, sun cream is very
necessary.
important.
Necessary.
Sun cream is very important. Okay, and the final one. Oh, I'm always sad to see the trivia go. Worst food, Mariana.
China.
Really?
It was horrific. Sorry.
Oh.
That sounded very
Well,
dramatic.
let's go to Matt quickly.
I'm going to insult around here, but France. You know when you go... Oh,
Mariana, that
we
was horrible.
apologise
But
for that, listener.
just to explain, Mariana herself is French, so that was quite a big move from Matt's part.
Not as in the taste, but you know the cheese shops.
The cheese shop.
What's wrong with cheese?
When you go in the French cheese shops, and I swear they keep dead bodies in the back.
No,
of them.
they don't.
Sorry, France. Sorry, French people.
I
Sorry,
love that
cheese.
smell.
I am never
Really?
speaking to you ever again.
Well, this podcast has been a dream.
It ruined a friendship.
God, to all the cheese lovers out there, very sorry about Matt.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's just when I was there.
You're just a
'cause
British person.
I'm gonna. Oh, careful. Let me try and
So goes one.
Let me try and rescue it a bit here. What's those places in French called pâtisserie?
Patisserie.
Where you
It's
get
like-
like a lovely.
Yeah, it's like a bakery.
Yeah,
basically.
and you get a lovely
Smells good.
pastry. You know, you got raspberries on the top. You got a bit of apricot
That's
You
your
feel a
daft.
bit
cream,
fancy.
Yeah.
and then you walk past a cheese shop and you feel nauseous. That's my issue.
That's
But
it.
don't
You're
you feel
just not
nauseous in
mature
front
enough.
of a fish shop?
That is true also. So fish shops, cheese.
Touché.
Basically, it's not actually France. It's just cheese shops and fish shops. So just not my thing.
Right, so whoever wants to send Matt hate for hating cheese,
I
then
think he didn't get the question right.
Oh,
Well, it is
why?
technically the worst food
Yeah, because they're the home of cheese.
because I'm talking about food.
Oh, I'm
Worst
sorry
food I've
for the
eaten. Let me
last
try and
one.
think of the worst food I've eaten then.
You don't have time.
Well, that's gone well because I can't think of any.
I'm joking. I'm just sad because it's France.
Can we?
But I love France. France is one of my favourite countries.
Yeah, nice
I've
save
been
there.
like
Yeah,
3 times.
yeah.
Brittany. I've been to Brittany. Rochefort-on-Terre.
Love
Lovely,
Brittany.
lovely place.
Worst food.
I don't know. I can't.
Right. Well, then we'll leave that for the next.
Oh, in Chile. Oh my god, in Chile.
Oh my
Definitely.
God,
I
Matt!
Sorry. You will know what this dish is. It's like oily water with like a pasta and beans in. Like, you would know if that's such a bad description.
An oily
It's
plate
so
with
let me
pasta
try
and beans.
Let me try and explain it to the listeners. So it's like, it's in a bowl, firstly, always served in a bowl, obviously. It's like a soup, but there's like a thick layer of oil on top, and it's got like a mushy pasta-y thing in the middle with
I
loads
have
of beans.
no idea.
And it is, they love it. It's like all Chileans love it.
Sorry, I never had that in my
Next
family's
podcast,
house.
even if I'm not on it, I will get the information to you listeners.
Well, that's something for you all to look forward to. But just before we end, because there's obviously been a bit of tension with that last question, could I please ask you two to shake hands? Even though we're on radio, if you could shake it near the microphone so people can hear that we've made a truce. That's the sound of Marianne's bracelets moving. We've done it, everyone. So, thank you both.
I'm going to run away now.
No! Thank you both for coming on, and guess we'll see you next time.
Bye.
We've been Where To Tracks. We're launching in 7 days.
Woo!
7 whole days, everyone. Keep your diaries open and your minds wide.
Jingle goodbye.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bye, 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 bye,
Ciao.
bye.
This song has been called Bye.